What happened to the Milwaukee real estate market at the end of 2025? Did prices crash? Did inventory explode? Or are we just kind of stuck? Let's take a look at the end of 2025's real estate market in Milwaukee and where we are going into now that we're in a new year. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Moving to Milwaukee channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Q4 of 2025 and specifically as well in December of 2025 to show you where things are at a little more nowadays than currently as we're just starting 2026. The data I am showing you today is the most up-to-date and is from my local MLS. So if you are thinking about buying, selling, or just want to understand where the real estate market is heading into 2026, this video is definitely for you. With that said, let's waste no time and get right into it because I got a few things I got to really cover on. Let's just start off here at a high level. Q4 of 2025 has become a very cooling, but at the same time, a very stable market here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We did not necessarily see a crash. We didn't see a surge. What we did see, however, was what I like to call more normalization. Now, compared to earlier in the year, buyer urgency has definitely slowed down. Sellers became a lot more price sensitive. At a point, homes took a longer to sell. Negotiations definitely started to become a lot more normal again, just like before COVID eras happened. So December really capped off that trend. So with that said, let's just go ahead and break this all down piece by piece. Oh, and by the way, before I go further, I am your host, William Lohse, the local real estate agent out of the greater Milwaukee and southeast Wisconsin area. If you're curious about what your home is worth and where you might stand in the real estate market, or if all the information I'm presenting to you today and you have any more questions on it or it all looks good to you, reach out to me today. Let's have a nice little chat. My contact information is on the screen and the description below. I look forward to meeting you and helping you out with your real estate goals in 2026. Now, going to these charts we have, if we're looking at the number of listings, as you can see, active inventory has peaked earlier in the fall, roughly around October, and then pulled back as we went into December. Unusually pretty normal for seasonality for the city of Milwaukee and a lot of areas throughout the Midwest. And a lot of sellers tend to wait till spring, and that's usually our more busier time throughout the years. Generally, winter time in December through February and a little bit into March is usually when things slow down drastically. What's very interesting, though, is that new listings have dropped sharply in December, but the inventory itself did not necessarily collapse. Now, that tells us two things. Fewer sellers have entered the market, and homes weren't necessarily flying off the shelf either. So with that said, we're still in a very tight inventory market, just not as extreme as earlier in the year or sometimes in some previous years. So for sellers, there's definitely less competition than the spring, and for buyers, there's definitely more options than 2022 or 2023, but not still as wide open yet, but definitely more than there has been. So it creates a little more areas to shop around. Now let's talk about pricing, because this is what everybody really cares about is what the prices of homes are nowadays. Going through these charts, looking at the median list prices, we saw prices are rising through the mid-year and they flatten around Q4 and they even dip a little more slightly in December. So what does this mean? It does not mean that values are necessarily crashing. What it does mean is that sellers had to get a little more realistic by the end of the year. Now, meanwhile, sold prices stayed relatively steady, which tells us buyers are still willing to pay, but it's only when the home is priced correctly. The gap between list price and sold price narrowed in Q4, especially in December. So, translation, basically, overpricing a listing stopped working. Please do not do this. This is what we are here for, is to price your home correctly. You might not like what we hear, but we're giving you a realistic perspective here. So if you want your home sold and sold right and sold fast, you give us a call. Now let's take a look at the sale to list ratio of homes in Milwaukee. Earlier in the year, homes were selling at or above list price. They were selling with multiple offers, and a lot of them were still selling with very too little to no negotiation. By December of 2025, however, homes sold slightly under list price. There were bidding wars with less competition, and price reductions of homes became more normal by this point. So with this, we're very step close to 100% of the list price, which is very strong, but the leverage has balanced out more over time. This is no longer a seller-dominant market. It's also not a buyer's market. What it is more of a negotiated market, so to speak. All right, now let's talk speed. Now, in early 2025, as you can see by the absorption rate chart, homes were selling incredibly fast with these low absorption rates. But by Q4 and especially December, days on the market has increased and the absorption rate therefore has climbed. Now that means that homes are taking longer to sell and inventory is sticking around a little bit longer. This doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong with the home. Absolutely not. There's a variety of factors that could come into play here. December had the longest days on the market for the quarter, which again, between the slowness of the market and the seasonal normalcy of the market, it's very normal for winter in Milwaukee, let alone the Midwest. But if you're comparing it to pre-pandemic levels, homes are still selling relatively quickly. If a home does sit right now, it's usually because of price, the condition, or the location of the home. It's not because nothing is selling. Oh, I'm complaining the market. Don't listen to what everybody tells you. Now, one thing I want to highlight here is price volume. This is the total dollar amount of homes that are selling, the amount of money that's actually flowing in and out of the market. Now, volume has peaked earlier in the fall and has dropped in the month of December. Now, that is going to be driven by fewer transactions, seasonal slowdowns going into winter, as I mentioned a couple of times, as well as despite interest rates little by little coming down recently, there's been some hesitation from buyers on those. But here's the important part, is that buyers did not fully disappear. If anything, the buyers that are out there and ready, willing, and able, they just become a lot more selective in the options of their choosing. Now, homes that were updated in desirable to upcoming neighborhoods and well priced, not to mention, those are the kind of homes that still move, and if anything, move. Now that I showed you all these statistics, what does this all mean as we head into the year 2026? For buyers, it means you have more negotiating power than you've had in years. It also means you're not competing with 15 or more offers on the table for a property. But the good homes, however, they will still move very fast. So it's still important to be quick and, right on top of things when it comes to doing your home search. Now, for sellers, it means pricing strategy on a home matters more than ever. That is what we are here for, is to make sure homes are priced correctly and make sure that your home can still swell swiftly and even quickly. It also means for sellers, the market will punish overpricing for that matter. But well-prepared homes can still sell very quickly and for some very strong money. And what this means for everybody is that the Milwaukee's real estate market remains very fundamentally healthy. We're seeing a balanced return instead of a downturn. Now, if you're thinking about buying or selling in 2026 and want a strategy based on this data, not national headlines and the media, feel free to reach out. My name is William Lohse. I am the local real estate agent out of the greater Milwaukee and Southeast Wisconsin area. Give me a call today. My contact info is on the screen. And let's talk about your goals and how I can help you navigate through this real estate market. If you liked this video and found it helpful, be sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment if you want a breakdown of any specific neighborhoods and how they're performing. And if you like the content I put out, be sure to stay in the loop for when I release more. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.